And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back here to Tournament Central as we continue to bring you coverage of the 2023 PDGA Professional Disc Golf World Championships presented by L.L.Bean. Of course, this morning out at Smuggler's Notch, we crowned our 2023 FPO champion, and it was Kristen Tatar who took it back-to-back, but now we are just moments away from our MPO field taking their final trip down the fairways of Fox Run Meadows in pursuit of their own world title. My name is Dustin Murray, and joining me for the MPO coverage this afternoon is, of course, the disc golf guy, Terry Miller. First off, Terry, how are you doing today, and how are the conditions looking? Because I thought I saw the wind kind of picking up there for FPO right at the end.
Well, if I wasn't doing great, then I don't belong here. It is Championship Sunday at the Worlds. Just the energy, the vibe, the feels, everything electric out here. Of course, as you mentioned this morning, we were treated to watching our FPO champion defend her title in Kristen Tatar. She's, in fact, just over yonder there, still signing autographs all this time later.
Wow.
I know she's going to have a sore hand by the end of the week, but or by the end of the day, but I'm sure she's going to be okay with just putting autographs on countless discs throughout this entire afternoon. Yes, you're right. The wind has picked up. We are feeling a light breeze at the moment, and we're also feeling the warmest temperatures that we've felt throughout the entire week. So those are a couple more factors as we head out for our final round this afternoon.
Yeah, and leading things off in our final round this afternoon, of course, is going to be Isaac Robinson. He won our first major of the year at the Champions Cup and is currently ranked second in our tour standings. Outside the Champions Cup title, Isaac has found the podium at multiple events, including recently at Idlewild, as well as out in more open courses like the Moines and OTB, so proving his versatility. We got to catch up with him yesterday after he gained himself a 3-stroke lead heading into the final round.
Yeah, I'm just taking it one shot at a time. I'm just trying to focus on each tee shot and each putt and just focus on what I need to do in the moment and not really think or get ahead of myself thinking about the round as a whole or even the tournament.
For final round, we're going to have 3 other players join you. How does that feel?
It feels good. Yeah, those guys shredded today, so I was watching scores the whole time. So if they're bringing that type of game tomorrow, I'm going to have to keep doing what I'm doing and shoot just as well as I did today. I think 10 down is going to be that mark. I think I'm going to try to shoot 10 and, try to go over that if I can.
How do you dare relax on the final night before Worlds?
I don't know, Terry. I'll let you know when I find out.
Those are some words from our leader, Isaac Robinson. He was our 2022 Rookie of the Year, Terry, and he won Idlewild last year. Now he's won his first major, winning Champions Cup earlier in 2023, and now he has a chance to win his first Worlds. I mean, what can you say about Robinson, who is rapidly becoming one of the most consistent contenders in our sport?
Well, it's incredible that he has talked about how he wants to prove he's a versatile player, as you mentioned. Although he primarily relies on the backhand, we don't see too many forehands from him. When he won at Champions Cup, you think of the tight-wooded nature that you find out there at the W.R. Jackson course, but then you also have seen him perform very well at Idlewild, also a wooded course, but he's still been a contender at all these other events. I also start thinking about the idea that he could win 2 majors this season. How does that not put him as a front runner for Player of the Year? Kelvin Heimburg, another solid competitor that's been consistent, but Kelvin has come up short on the majors. So when you look at Isaac Robinson, thinking about what it could mean to take down a second major with just 1 left in the year, could be a pretty special day here for Isaac Robinson.
I think one thing that really encouraged me about Isaac is the fact that he was able to improve upon his performance at Fox Run so rapidly. I mean, of course, he played really well at Brewster. He shot 9 under both rounds there. That served him well. But his first run at Fox Run was a 6 under par round. Yesterday, he doubled that effort. He shot 12 under. He was 2 strokes off the record-setting pace of Eagle McMahon. He was right there in the mix with everyone. So I think that's going to serve him well. As Terry, he's actually leading the field in so many categories right now. He's number 1 in reaching C1 in regulation. He's first in strokes gained tee to green. He's first in birdie rate at 61%. He's been solid on the greens as well. I know that we talked about he wasn't as lethal from Circle 2 overall this event, but he was yesterday. He was 33%. So, Terry, what do you think he is going to need to do today to maintain that lead and become a world champion?
He's going to have to keep his nerves in check, which seems like he already does. He's very well at maintaining that composure, and he's also going to have to get off to a good start. I feel like that kind of crushes or at least maybe halts or stymies some of the dreams of others when they think they can make a charge. If you show any weakness or you show any kind of mistakes early on, I think that starts building a confidence in the rest of the players who are trying to chase him down. And some players would tell you it almost feels worse having a 3-stroke lead or a 5-stroke lead or some type of big lead, knowing that there's an X on their back and knowing they'll feel more challenged or almost even embarrassed if they give away a lead as opposed to somebody coming up and trying to chase them. So he's got to keep his nerves in check. I'll be excited to see if he can do that, and I'd like to see him, if he has the opportunity, see him convert more from circle too. Now, as we know, if you're on fire and you're putting everything inside the circle, then you just have to convert from there. But every single look he gets, he's going to have to take advantage of. And lastly, I think about that number he put out there. He said if he can get to double digits, he feels as if that will be secure, because somebody would have to shoot a near record course record in order to go out and catch him. So we'll see if he can get to that double digits.
Indeed, we shall. The first person on his heels is a little bit of a dark horse name in Evan Scott. He came into Worlds ranked 48th in our Pro Tour standings, and he had a couple of successful silver event runs this year. He came second at the Cascade Challenge. He won the Abridged Zootown Open that had the weather issues. But prior to Worlds, his best finish at an elite event was 26, and that just happened recently at Idlewild and Ledgestone. Now, all of a sudden, in his second season on the tour, he sits in second place after 4 rounds at Worlds after shooting a clean 12 under yesterday. We got to catch up with Evan Scott after his wonderful performance.
Yeah, as long as you stay in the fairway, don't throw it OB, it's almost hard not to shoot a good round.
Well, 12 under is certainly one of those good rounds. What else was clicking for you in the game today?
I think I only missed 1 or 2 putts that I would have liked to have back, so my putting felt really good all day and just really consistent, never did anything stupid. Just kind of kept birdieing the whole time.
Your entire card was lighting it up pretty well. What does that do for your game?
I think that helps me out a lot, especially like Calvin was playing really good the whole time, so I don't think I caught him until hole 18, so I was just chasing him down the entire round. That honestly I think makes it a little easier for me when I'm chasing somebody.
You're in this position at a world championship. What is that pressure like? I mean, do you embrace it? Does it get to you?
It's definitely a lot of pressure, but I like it a lot. It makes it a lot more fun, I think, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
As it stands right now, you have a little 2 next to your name on the leaderboard.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's your first thought process there?
Hopefully it's a 1 tomorrow.
It's a good thought to have if you're Evan Scott, as we take a look at what might be the putt of the year, in my opinion, Terry. A falling putt from well outside 70 feet. I believe that was on hole 13 or so to get himself one of the mini birdies he got yesterday to shoot a 12 under par. Again, just 2 off the pace of the course record that Eagle McMahon set, and he finds himself just 3 strokes behind the leader. What do you think it's like for someone like Evan Scott, Terry, a man, again, that we don't, see too often or see at the top so much so far? He's still very young in his career to find himself in this position at the World Championships.
Well, a couple things jump out at me. First of all, it seems as if he's decided to pick the right time of year to get it going. He, of course, had the win earlier in the year, but now that he's played well at the last couple of events, clearly having an incredible week here this week at the World Championships, you got to love that momentum and that confidence that he's probably building from within. He said about his game plan or about what it takes, he says if you keep it in bounds, then you should have a look at birdies and you should be able to score well out here. That will be a factor today. As I mentioned, the wind will be picking up, so keeping it in bounds. And then we always talk about his long-range putting. When I only saw that he only had 1 or 2 conversions from circle 2 or deeper yesterday, I was somewhat surprised by that because he is so well known for his putting. And a few events ago, I recall hearing there was 4 or 5 putts from circle 2 in a row when he was stringing together a bunch of birdies. So his long-range putting, we'll see if that shows up this afternoon. I'm excited to check it out. And the last thing I'll say about him is he is ready to rise to the occasion. He has said that he loves the competition. He does feel the pressure, but he's ready to rise to the occasion. And this young superstar wants it so that he becomes a household name. And, of course, becoming a world champion would certainly do that for him.
Indeed it would. Now, someone who's already very much a household name that's also in the tie for third is going to be Calvin Heimburg. He's been, as you already have mentioned, the most consistent player on tour this season, currently ranked number 1 in both the standings and the UDIS World Rankings. He already has 3 wins this year. 2 of those are elite events. He also has 10 additional podium finishes this year. And outside of his 16th place finish at Champions Cup, he has never finished outside the top 10 at any other event for the entire year. He would shoot an 11 under par yesterday to move up 6 spots and into a tie for third. But that was only a part of the story. He had a little bit of shakiness on hole 18, and we got to catch up with him after that. Let's take a look.
Calvin, just initial thoughts right after the round today.
Just frustrated with how I finished 18. But other than that, I threw the disc really well. And I'm going to have to go do that again and subtract a couple mistakes in order to maybe take this home tomorrow.
What are those mistakes? What are you seeing on 18? What are you seeing from your disc?
I just can't throw it OB. That's really all you can do, especially not right. And that's what I did. So, yeah.
A lot of positives in the round today, too. What was clicking and working well?
I threw the disc really well. I honestly didn't have to, putt, a ton. I was just close most of the time. So I think I maybe made, one circle 2 putt on hole 9, and then other than that, everything was nestled pretty close to the basket, so scoring was made pretty easy today. You just got to be in full-on attack mode. There's definitely going to be a bunch of people still in contention going in tomorrow, so you're going to have to shoot a hot one.
And there was some words from Calvin Heimburg, who again was at 13 under par heading into hole 18 yesterday, a chance to tie Eagle McMahon for the course record, but went OB right early, had to re-tee, took a double. But at the end of the day, he still shot 11 under par, Terry. He's still only 3 strokes off the lead. He was one of only a handful of players to find the Eagle on hole 12, so that's a nice little feather in the cap, so to speak. And he's still playing some really great golf, as he has been all year long. So for Heimburg, it's just about finally capturing that major. Does it happen today, Terry?
He's got a good chance at it if he plays the way he did yesterday. All he has is just a couple of mistakes to clean up. You saw that he had the bogey and the double bogey out there. So capturing the birdies and the eagle wasn't the problem for him. In fact, he said his putter wasn't even doing that much work, and that's always good for Calvin Heimburg. If there's a place where he sometimes comes up short, it's literally with short putts. He hits the front of the cage more often than you see from some of our other elite players out there. So if you can keep the pressure off of the putter, keep everything nice and close, there's no reason he couldn't have a round like he did today. And you always have to go back to who's played in the biggest moments out of anyone in this card, and Calvin Heimburg is the answer. Of course, Isaac Robinson has had his success, but he hasn't been around as long as what Calvin has. So maybe he'll dig into some of that experience, calming the nerves, all those types of things. Calvin Heimburg, he already looks unfazed no matter what's going on in his game, but we'll see if he can keep everything calm and in check this afternoon, and he'll see if he can apply some pressure to Isaac Robinson early on.
Indeed. Like you said, playing some really great golf. He's actually in a situation where he's second in birdie rate so far in this tournament, just under 60%. He's also putting well, 94% from C1X. So definitely has a lot going for him, as you mentioned. Just had a couple of mistakes yesterday. If he can clean those up, he's definitely going to be a contender. Now, another player who's going to be a contender is the person tied with Calvin Heimburg for third position, just 4 strokes off the lead, and that's going to be Kyle Klein. He's had kind of an interesting story because he's definitely one of the top-rated players in the world. He's ranked 11th right now. We saw him win Waco very early on in the year. Also had some top 10 finishes at Austin and Texas State, but we also know that he suffered with some back injury issues after that. Had to DNF a couple of tournaments, but he came back and he came second at the European Open and recently found 4th at Idlewild. Had kind of a mixed tournament so far, but yesterday shot 11 under to move up 6 spots for that tie for third, and again 4 strokes off the lead. What are your thoughts on Kyle Klein as he's going to be taking the lead card on today in a similar position to Calvin Heimburg as far as score goes?
Yeah, Kyle has netted a few wins in the last couple of years. Also, I remember getting a big start at the NADGT many years ago when he was just transitioning from his amateur to professional career. So he's another guy that keeps pretty calm, keeps to himself, and he has every skill you could want out here. He's got a great forehand, a great backhand. His long range and short range putting all can be dialed in and can look very deadly out there. I caught up with him at Fall Fest last night, and I said, what are you thinking about? How are you feeling? He said everything felt really comfortable, and he feels like he could go out and even improve on the score that he had yesterday. So he likes the course. He also said that he feels as if in the past, Brewster has been the course that he prefers or that he plays a little bit better. He played it okay this week, but he said, I think I've changed my mind, though. I think the Fox Run Meadows course I like a little bit more. So he'll have those feels, so to speak, going into today's championship round. And if he scores low, like he did yesterday, gets off to a better start, he could, yet again, apply that pressure, and we could have quite the shootout here.
Indeed, we could. There's still a lot of players in the mix right now. Not much separation amongst our top 10 players. And, of course, one of those players is our final member in the tie for third, currently 4 strokes off the lead, and that is going to be Anthony Barella. We will hear from him and discuss more MPO action after this short break.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants, and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Whether I'm on the course or behind a camera, there's one thing driving me forward: the shot. The shot no one else thinks about or would even dare to try. The shot that people will remember, that tells a story. For me, that's what disc golf is all about. Introducing the time-lapse, the first 12-speed featuring gyro overmold technology, and the first disc in the Simon line. Coming soon.
Still one more round, still in it. Should be within 4 strokes, I think, of the lead. So,
All right, what's going to be the mentality hitting the course tomorrow on Championship Sunday?
just got to capitalize all the opportunities. I'm throwing the disc great. I mean, just making stupid mistakes, losing focus, and missing short putts is not something I need to be doing tomorrow. So, hopefully, I can dial it in.
And that was Anthony Barella, another member in our 3-way tie for third and 4 strokes off the lead. Of course, he has been one of our consistent contenders this year. Had a couple of second-place finishes early at the Texas States and the Music City Open, but he has also been consistently just placing in the top 10. You know, you look at D-Glow, the European Open, the Preserve, Des Moines, you name it, he has been in the mix, and he has continued to do that here at the World Championships. Had some ups and downs yesterday, Terry, but still shot an 8 under par to remain in third. 4 strokes off the lead. We know how talented he is. We know what he's capable of. What are your thoughts on him going into this final round?
AB looking also for that first-time major victory, and it was really fun because I caught up with his father this morning as they were just kind of getting onto the property and getting ready for the day. I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "We're stressed out," meaning him and his wife, Trina. He said, "We're stressed out. We're full of anxiety and excitement." He said, "Anthony, however, is holding it all together." He said he's been the most calm. He's been focused and just has an aura about him this week. So we're seeing Anthony Barella, not that he doesn't always take it serious, of course he does, but he said his dad said that he has an extra level of it this week out there. So that's a fun interaction that I think you can have, especially with your parents being on site. We've watched him throughout his entire career since he was shorter than actually most of the competitors. At one point he was. And Anthony Barella is ready to go out there. As he said, he just has to clean up a couple of those mistakes. And we'll yet again mention, if the wind picks up, that might force players to go with a different plan of attack. They've had it calm here all week long, whether we were in Brewster Ridge or out on the open course. So if we do see some wind pick up, I think it'll add to the excitement one way or another.
Indeed, it shall. Again, AB playing great. He's third in birdie rate, 54%, 93% from C1X, so he's throwing well and putting well. We'll just have to see if he can keep it up during this final round, as he is going to round out our top of the chase card, I guess you could say, but still in that third position. Now, on the chase card, joining Anthony Barella is going to be none other than Chris Dickerson. He is fresh off of a third-place finish at D-Glow. He also had a podium finish earlier this year at the Music City Open and some top 10 finishes at the European Open in Ledgestone. He's been kind of heating up at just the right time, in my opinion, as far as he's really picked up his results within, the most recent tournaments that we've been playing. He made a big surge during the second round, moving up 66 spots into third place after shooting 12 under his first play at Fox Run. He has maintained that position through a lot of the tournament up until yesterday, where he had some struggles, as you can see on the scorecard. Only shooting 6 under par, it dropped him down into 6th position, but he's still very much in this, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on Dickerson and his, chances at trying to claw back a 6-stroke deficit?
Yeah, an uncharacteristic day out there for Chris, finding 3 bogey strokes when it was all said and done. A couple of those not necessarily were his fault. Well, they were, because as he says, he throws the shots, but he got a nasty roll away on 7, and then a small roll away on 8. He should have still made the putt, but I think at that point he was a little flustered and frustrated. He was also held back from a park job on hole number 4 when he threw a near perfect shot that then hit a rock and then rolled away, and he didn't convert the putt from there because it was a significant distance. So you'd love to see him just clean a few things up out here. In round 1, I believe he only had 2 pars out here the first time he had played this course, and then he only had a handful of pars yesterday. So he's getting plenty of birdies and plenty of looks. It's just a matter of eliminating some of those mistakes.
Yeah, like you said, definitely had a couple of bad breaks yesterday. There's no doubt about it. But missing the Mando on hole 13, I think, really did kind of take its toll, and we definitely saw the frustration. But again, he's 5 strokes off the lead, still has a chance at this, and he's definitely going to be one of those guys in the chase car that could make a run. Now, another player that's already made a bit of a run is going to be Eagle McMahon. He came into Worlds ranked 3rd in the UDIS World Rankings. He's a guy who came 2nd at our first major of the year at the Champions Cup, as well as at Jonesboro early in the year. Won the Beaver State Fling. Recently, he placed in the top 5 at the PCS Open and the Preserve and came 2nd at D-Glow. So similar to Dickerson, he seems to be hitting his stride at perhaps just the right time. And yesterday, he moved up 21 spots into a tie for 7th after shooting the course record 14 under par, putting him at just 6 strokes off the lead. And we got to catch up with him after his feat.
Obviously, there's a little bit more pressure because, I haven't been playing bad per se, but I definitely feel like the course hasn't given me all that I wanted. So I knew today was a crucial day if I wanted to have any sort of chance going in to tomorrow's final round. It's so funny. I really don't feel like anything was that much different. Same game plan, same attitude, but that's just disc golf sometimes. You can not hit the side of a barn one day, and then the next day it's like you can do anything. So it's very interesting, but same game plan, just was able to execute and throw a great round at Fox Run. There's definitely a multitude of times out there where I'm just thinking about putting really well over at the school in Jefferson, getting the putting world title. That's definitely a good confidence boost. Still have missed a few that I feel like I should have made, but overall, really, really content with how that round went.
I mean, you met the pressure today. What is the pressure level like now going forward into Championship Sunday?
It just feels good to be back in it. I assume that a lot of the other guys ahead of me are going to still continue to shoot really well, and to have any sort of chance, you're going to probably need to do the same thing tomorrow, if not better. But I love you, Ian, but don't count anyone out. If you're 40th place, there's always 18 under.
Well, he was only 4 strokes off of that, Terry, yesterday, setting that new course record, as we said, making a big move to get onto the chase card. And outside of the big round yesterday, he's also just been playing, really steady golf, particularly from the greens. He's 90% from C1X. He's 56% from Circle 2. That's top 5 in the field. Were you surprised to see Eagle McMahon be able to make this big of a leap, or is this just like a McMahon thing to do, I guess you could say?
Yeah, a course that he certainly knows and loves out here in Vermont, so not surprised to see him put that type of score down. I think he could definitely duplicate it, but now we're getting into the spots and the deficits where even if you put up a course record-setting round, you're going to need help. Right, he is coming in 6 back of Robinson, so even if he goes out there and shoots another 12 or 14 or 16 or whatever the score might be, he needs a lot of players in front of him to have mediocre days or a blow up even per se. He needs that help. It obviously starts with yourself in that, karting a great round, but his chances are outside at this point, in my opinion. Now, that's not to dismiss any kind of score that he could ultimately card, but now he needs the help.
Indeed. Now, joining him in the tie for 7th and just 6 strokes off the lead is kind of a man a little bit near and dear to my heart. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little biased. I'm an Alabama boy in my own right, and this man only lives about 10 or 15 minutes up the road from me. That is, of course, Matt Orum, a.k.a. Matty-O, coming into Worlds ranked 15th in the world. He's a guy that has been a consistent contender for many, many years. This man placed 2nd at Worlds back in 2005, back with the old oversized Rodriguez jersey on. So everybody knows this guy. He is one of the most lovable characters, I think, in disc golf. It's very hard not to like him. We saw him come 5th at our first major of the year at Champions Cup, and he was also a podium member at the Dynamic Disc Open. He's recently had some top 15 finishes at the European Open and Ledgestone, and he came 7th at Idlewild heading into this tournament. Yesterday, he would shoot 10 under par to jump up 8 spots to join that tie for 7th and just 6 strokes off the lead. You can go a lot of different ways with this, I guess, Terry, but what's your thoughts on seeing Matty-O once again, all these years later, sitting near the top of Worlds?
Not surprised. I remember having bets with others throughout the years about him finishing in the top 10. In fact, I had a running bet. This was at least 6 or 8 years ago. I had a running bet about finding Matty-O in the top 10 at the Worlds because no matter what kind of year he was having, when it came to the World Championships, he was always there in the top 10. You mentioned that finish back in 2005. I believe that was the time I met him. And who was he touring with? Good buddy Greg Barsby, as we were over there in Pennsylvania. And these two still grinding, still at it all these years later. Of course, he doesn't take himself too seriously, although he is still hunting that first major. A side note to that, when we were coming over this morning and we were taking our shuttle, he was on the shuttle with me, and not only did he ask the bus driver to crank it up, so to speak, the music, but he wanted to stay on the bus for the guitar solo from Guns N' Roses' November Rain. That's where his concerns are as he's prepping for his last day of Worlds, is wanting to make sure that he hears all of November Rain by Guns N' Roses. So Matty-O is always the entertainer, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do out there today.
And who are we to deny him that? I guess is really the better question there. But anyway, Terry, any final thoughts before we let you go, as, of course, we'll be hearing from you throughout the day from the course?
Yeah, I just think there's a good chance we're going to be crowning a world champion for their first time today. We're going to find all of that out and more in just a few hours. It's Championship Sunday. We'll see you guys out there.
Indeed, we shall. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tournament Central. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we'll be bringing you the action from the commentary booth.
We're ready when you are. Come, discover Vermont.
When you first sign up for a PDGA membership, you're given a PDGA number. Your PDGA number is a stamp for when you got involved in the sport. It's a badge of pride for players and a part of your disc golf identity. Get your number today. Visit pdga.com/join.
This is Latitude 64. The smallest of grains handled with the greatest passion. Always trying to improve, always trying to be better. Out of curiosity, excitement, thrill. For the player and the sport. Because we want to make disc golf awesome for you.
Nice Valley, Montana, with my family. When we were bored, my parents would just be like, go outside. That's where memories are made. It's such a part of childhood that I feel like is being lost today, and I have desperately tried to instill that into my kids.